Welcome back, everyone. NicknLex here. Thank you so much for joining me today to this new episode of Music with Nick. Today we got a marathon by JK. Thank you so much again, JK, for sponsoring this marathon. In this new location, we're gonna be here a little bit under 2 weeks, 18 days to be exact. On the 1st of September is our flight to Munich, and from Munich to Barcelona, and we'll set up our studio there. It's going to take a couple, I'm sure I'm going to set up, the first thing I'm going to do is going to set up the studio, but you know how it is. So, I mean, we still have to get some gear because we did sell. We're going to leave this gear here, you know, this computer, we're going to leave it to Mario so he can maybe, you know, do something with his you know, stuff that he loves. And so, but yeah, this is a really interesting marathon. I'm gonna read you some information here, and I do know a couple of songs, and that's why I prepared myself a little bit more to give you information that you might not know about these very legendary tracks. So we're gonna do just really quickly, this is from JK. This says guitar riff marathon. Hi Nick, I know you're in transition, so no hurry on this marathon. I appreciate it, but I am doing it because I have some time. There are great guitar licks that many of us try to reproduce on our own guitars. One from the 60s, two famous ones from the 70s. I couldn't find them on your channel, but let me know if I'm wrong. One from the 80s and one from the 90s. And I thought, hey, it would be kind of cool if I grab the guitar and try to play them just by ear. But hey, I don't want to get into that today. I'm sure it would be fun, and we can do it live or something. We can just like, I could go live one day and then you just say, hey, listen to this and try to play it. But I think that that would be better for another video. Today, we're just going to listen to the songs, analyze them, and talk about them. So I pulled up like this list here. So we're gonna start it off. Let's take this slide out of my face. Let's see here. So I'm gonna give you the list of the artists. Here it is. So we're gonna start it off with our first artist band. So this is Mr. Soul, the song from Buffalo Springfield, from the album Buffalo Springfield, again 1967. This is Neil Young from the band that also introduced Stephen Stills. So let's listen to the song, and then we're going to talk about the song, and I'm going to give you some insights that you might not be familiar with. Okay, so that's where I did my homework. I haven't memorized this stuff, so I'm going to read it to you, but I think it's going to be fun just to listen to these tunes, talk about them, and then go on to the next song. Okay, so here we are with the first song, Mr. Soul. I don't believe I've heard this. The only one that I do know 100% I've heard is Sweet Home Alabama by the next band, Skynyrd, because that's just a song that you hear in life, I guess. And then Crazy on You. It's so funny. We were just watching Fargo, the show, the TV show based on the movie, and the second season had Crazy on You by Heart in like from a scene to another scene, maybe 10 seconds, because it said on the bottom, Crazy on You by Heart. So I was like, okay, so I guess I know the chorus. So there you go. And then R.E.M. and Hole, I've heard of the bands, but I'm not familiar with everything. So let's go here with Mr. Soul, Buffalo Springfield. Let's check it out, and then let's analyze that riff. Okay, here we go. Okay. Give me a second. So we had it playing outside. I'm just gonna leave this in. You know, this is all impromptu. This is all improvised. I had it on the speakers. I really don't have my setup anymore, my studio. So the speakers, I can barely hear the music. I do want them here in the headphones. So let's start it off again with Mr. Soul. Again, thank you so much, Shaky, for all your support throughout the years. You've been very, very important to this channel, you and countless others, and I know you all know who you are. I can't really like mention you all, but I know how important you have been, and I wanted to thank all of you guys, and JK, of course. So here we go, Mr. Soul.
the thought that I've caught that my head is the event of the season. Why in crowds just a trace of my face could seem so pleasing. I'll cop out to the change, but a stranger is putting the tease on. I was down on the frown when the messenger brought me a letter. I was raised by the praise of a fan who said I upset her. Any girl in the world could have easily known me better. She said, you're strange, but don't change, and I let her. Stick around while the clown who is sick does the trick of disaster. For the race of my head and my face is moving much faster. Is it strange I should change? I don't know. Why don't you ask her? Is it strange I should change? I don't know. Why don't you ask her? Is it strange I should change? I don't know. Why don't you ask her? Is it strange I should change? I don't know. Why don't you ask her?
I love Neil Young. Okay, so he wrote this. First of all, Neil Young, I'm a huge fan. All of his stuff. I just love his voice. It's very recognizable, very unique. In whatever style he plays, I love that he plays hard rock, he plays grunge, he's the godfather of grunge. I love that he plays ballads, he plays the piano, he's the complete package. Beautiful harmonies with Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Just like Neil Young is wonderful. Now, about this riff sounds a lot. I haven't looked at my notes. It does sound a lot like the Stones. Bam, bam, da, 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 da. I guess there's just two notes that are added here. But the Stones is like bam, bam, ba da da, ba da da. A little bit more simplistic, but it's basically the same idea. I don't know. It was recorded 2 years before this. Could have been influenced by the Stones, Keith Richard, who knows? But I love, the panning of the solo. I love the fuzz, very dirty, very almost like out of tune, very raw, very, very rough, this recording, but it has that power. It has that revolutionary sound of the fuzz before distortion was even a thing, or overdrive, I think it has that fuzz and just the way they would kind of mess around with the recording and be able to pan this from box to box or headphone to head, from side to side. That was just genius back in the day. I mean, how was that even possible? And I just talked today to Alexia's aunt, and she's in her 70s, and I played some Led Zeppelin on the phone because I was watching a short, and she's like, oh, that's good. And I'm like, yeah. And we were talking about those times and the music and how she enjoyed that time. She's 74 now, and she watches the channel, and she was like, yeah, I watched this video where you were talking about how recordings were made back in the day, and how it's, for me, completely insane how people would just use tape and cut and paste and overdub and put tape over tape, and it's just fantastic. It's incredible. And nowadays, obviously, it's all plug and play. It's all digital. We have like a visual marker where the music stops and where it ends. Before, it was all like, I have no idea how you guys did it back in the day, but it was just incredible. So some notes here. So this is Buffalo Springfield. Buffalo Springfield, again, 67. The writer Neil Young. It's released during the peak of the late 60s folk rock and psychedelic movement. It did have a psychedelic vibe to it. Now the guitar riff here, it says Neil Young plays the main riff, which has a blues rock swagger influenced by the Rolling Stones. I can get no satisfaction. See, so I was right. Young admitted it was loosely inspired by Keith Richards' riff, loosely. The tone is fuzzy and biting, using a Gretsch 6120 Chet Hawkins model guitar, plugged into a small amp, pushed to distortion, giving it a raw, almost garage rock quality that stood out in 1967. The riff is built around a descending minor pentatonic pattern, yes, with a syncopated rhythm, which keeps it catchy while giving it a slightly sinister edge. That bam, bam, ba-da-da. Yes, we have it. Stephen Stills complemented Young's riffs with rhythm guitar layers and fills, creating a thick two-guitar texture. Very cool. So we can talk about the musical context as a more folk rock, blues rock, and psychedelia with riff-driven structures, usual for Buffalo Springfield. Very cool. And then the lyrical aspect as well here is a sardonic, self-reflective piece Neil Young wrote after receiving fan mail questioning his onstage persona and appearance. There you go. Guitar-wise, it's one of Young's earliest showcases as a riff-oriented electric player, foreshadowing the raw, minimalistic, and emotionally charged style he'd carry into Crazy Horse. So that's very cool to know. I think that's some awesome information. We're getting some musical context. We're getting some context about the riff and even about the lyrics. So we're going to jump now to Sweet Home Alabama. Sweet Home Alabama is a song that if you haven't heard it, and I've heard this hundreds of times, Nick, Alexia, did you live under a rock? And honestly, yes, we did. We lived in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, where you just don't hear new music. We even talked to a musician the other day that also lives in Puerto Vallarta, and he's from Jamaica, and he's also kind of like experienced that kind of like time standstill, thing, where it's just the same music. And we even talked about the store, and you're going to see that interview soon. There was only one musical store in Puerto Vallarta, and it was really hard to get any sort of music from outside. And if you wanted it, it would take months, if not years, and they only had the best of. So it's, if you have the best of the Eagles, I didn't know the best of the Eagles. I know the best of Elton John and stuff like that. But it's just like there's a lot of music you don't hear. So it was perfect for creating this channel. So now the second song is Lynryd Skynyrd from the album Second Helping, 1974. The writers are Ed King, Gary Rossington, Ronnie Van Zant. Released as a single in June 1974, quickly becoming the band's signature song. So that's why it's like Lynryd Skynyrd, Sweet Home Alabama. And I think Metallica even used the idea for a song of theirs, but I'm going to get into that maybe later if I remember it. So let's listen to the song and let's talk about it, okay? All right, here we go. Sweet Home Alabama. Here you
go. 1, 2, 3. Turn it up.
I've never heard it like this.
Big wheels keep on turning, carry me home just like you. Singing songs about the Southland,
So good. Okay. Okay, honestly, I've never heard it like this in my life. I've always heard it played by bands. Was a typical cover that would play at the Roxy in Puerto Vallarta. It's like a song that you have to know, you know. I don't think I ever like learned it or played it. We were just like more like a metal band and stuff like that. And the older players, you know, would play Sweet Home Alabama. So I've never really heard this version. Maybe, you know, just in passing. It's so that's way harder than that bum bum badum bum bum badum. I mean, obviously both very catchy, but the second one, I think that doodle dam doodle doodle dam bam doodle, because it's all that arpeggiating is very complicated. And the solo, I mean, these players were so advanced for their time. Like, when was this released? Give me a second. 1974. These guys were already like at a level that like the jazz fusion players were, you know, they were just like really, really advanced. When I listen to other rock players, even like, might I mention, you know, Richie Blackmore or, you know, Jimi Hendrix, they were all very, very amazing and very innovative. But these guys had just something. I mean, these Southern players, there's something about them. I've heard some really amazing improvisations from these bands, the Outlaws, Lynryd Skynyrd, and just like these other bands, like, and I really want to mention them. I really want to give them the credit that really left me like, what is going on with these guitar players? You know, like we have Steve Miller Band, for example. Just ZZ Top, amazing improviser, amazing guitar players. Just the language these guys were speaking on their guitars, and it was blues influence, but it had also the Southern context that was really, really hard to do. Like it's still really, really hard to do compared with these just plain rock and rollers, you know. Let's see. Okay, they're mentioning Buffalo Springfield. But Dire Straits, you know, is an English band. I want to keep it American here. Marshall Tucker Band, for example. Like, holy moly. But they are talking about Jimi Hendrix here. Thin Lizzy. Okay, they're from Scotland. But I mean, look at these bands. Kansas, the Eagles American, Kansas American. Steve Miller. These guys were just on a different level at that time already. Like they were just like on the guitar. Like, I mean, Terry Kath, you know, these guitar players were incredibly talented for their time. So it's just crazy to me when you compare them with the rock, the real heavy players, you know, like hard rock, heavy metal, like Jimmy Page, or the blues players, Eric Clapton. They were on a different level. They were just on a different level. Let me know if you agree. But the solo, just the whole song has an amazing structure, super catchy, great backing vocals. The solo is just out of this world. A very, very calculated solo. Very, very rich in ideas. These licks, Sweet Home Alabama, it's not just the intro lick, it's also that throughout the song. It's so interesting to play. So that's what I want to add. Beautiful tone, beautiful piano solo at the end. It's just amazing tune. So let's see here. Released as a single. So it says the opening riff is one of the most recognizable in classic rock history. It's played by Ed King on lead guitar with Gary Rossington adding fills and rhythm support. Tuning is the standard tuning. Chord progression D, C, G, but the picking pattern on the bass note changes, give it a unique bounce. And this bounce is done by Metallica and Seek and Destroy, I remember. King plays an arpeggiated picking pattern that alternates between open string and fretted notes. And I heard that kind of like that muting there. As well, creating a rolling country rock feel. It has that it has that rolling. The riff's charm is its simplicity and rhythmic swing. It's approachable for beginners. It has enough nuance that experienced players enjoy adding their own touch. And yes, I can totally see that. A clean Fender twin reverb style tone with a light breakup, likely a Stratocaster at King's 64. Fender Strat was his go-to, of course. Fender Strat, you can't go wrong. Rosington's slide guitar work throughout the song adds another layer of Southern rock flavor. Now, the musical context. The riff is a perfect example of Southern rock guitar blending blues, country, and rock sensibilities. That's what I was talking about. It serves as both the intro and a recurring hook, making it central to the song's identity. The song's riff essentially cemented the Lynryd Skynyrd three-guitar attack sound, King Rosington and Alan Collins. And now we have these three-guitar attacks in Iron Maiden, and we had the twin attack in Judas Priest and Thin Lizzy. But there are more and more bands who choose to play three guitars, which is amazing. Let's see. Okay. I think that there's not really like a lyrical context here that came up, but it's about their home, which is Alabama. Really, really cool. I mean, the whole song is just perfect, you know. So let's move it on here to the third song. I don't want to make this too long or boring or anything. So Heart, Crazy on You. This is from Dreamboat Annie, 1975. Let's check it out. So like I said, I did hear a part of this song the other day in a television program called Fargo. If you haven't watched it, it's really, really good. A lot of violence. It is very violent. It's about murder. The show is about murder and how one thing leads to another and leads to another. And this chain effect of like this train wreck in each season. It's cool because it's always in a different decade. So, you know, so it's kind of fun. So, artists, we have Heart, Dreamboat Annie, 1975, writers Ann Wilson, the lyrics Nancy Wilson, the music released as a single in 1976 became Heart's breakthrough US hit. All right, let's check it out. Beautiful. Almost Baroque like.
Stay
so good. This entire song is crazy. And I've definitely not heard it. I did hear the that lick I did hear in the show, and I don't know what it is. We're gonna find out. I do need my guitar. I don't want to try and I mean it's obviously it's either a chromatic da 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 da, or it's I think maybe it could be a major scale major, or it sounds more like a harmonic. I would say harmonic minor or a chromatic run, but really cool. But what I love about this lick is, first of all, the intro, beautiful. It's almost like a classical vibe to it, but also not going too Baroque like, not too Bach. I would say there is a little bit of classical music, but it has that, Southern charm in there, and beautiful like acoustic guitar intro. And then what I love that through the entire song, there's this rhythm guitar without any effect. It's just the acoustic guitar. Dun, 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 like that usually gallopy kind of feel that you get later on in the 80s by Iron Maiden, or you got through Judas Priest. Also the end there, beautiful, that harmony guitar, the two guitars harmonizing with the solo, what we just talked about. It was just an inspiration, I think, from bands like Thin Lizzy, Lynyrd Skynyrd, and so forth. Really great lyrics, great range, this, and then this like I don't know what she's doing there. Just this whole song, the bass, wonderful. It's just a great song. It's a great composition, and it's not done by like giants like Led Zeppelin or the Stones. Like it's heart, which obviously for me are giants. I mean, these two girls and the band, I mean, they were like insanely talented, super creative, just a stepping stone for bands to come, with just Barracuda. I mean, that's like a metal anthem. Even though a lot of people would say, it's not metal, it's hard rock, whatever you may call it, but it helped cement the way, with Black Sabbath and Uriah Heep and Deep Purple and so forth, and Led Zeppelin, into the metal genre. And even music, there is music that is metal and is like, but I don't listen to that. I listen to heavy metal from the 70s and 80s. That's what I listen to. And then, of course, newer stuff, which progressive metal, such as insert name here, there's hundreds and thousands of bands, but these are the inspirations, So let's see what we have here of information that is not mine that I'm going to share with you. So it says here the guitar riff and intro, the full album version starts with a solo acoustic intro called Silver Wheels, played by Nancy Wilson. This intro was a fast, intricate, finger-picked pattern in standard tuning using hammer-ons, pull-offs, or also known as, you could call it legato, and if you don't just do this, and alternate bass notes to create a galloping flamenco-inspired rhythm. Okay, I didn't say flamenco. I was going to say, but I didn't. After the acoustic intro, the band kicks in with the main electric riff, a choppy, syncopated pattern, built an open position chords and accented staccato strums like that. Exactly. Acoustic tone, bright and percussive, recorded with a steel string acoustic. It says here, likely Gibson or Ovation. I love how deep they go here. Mic closely for crisp attack. Electric tone, clean to lightly overdriven 70s rock, probably through a Fender Twin reverb or similar amp. The transition between delicate flamenco-like intro to the punchy rock riff is what makes this opening so distinctive. And yes, I totally agree. Musical context. Nancy Wilson's acoustic work here is one of the most famous female guitar performances in rock. That's why I said it was not written by Jimi Hendrix, by Jimmy Page, by Eric Clapton. History showing technical skill rarely heard in mainstream rock at the time. The main riff is hybrid of folk and hard rock, a hallmark of hard sound in the mid 70s. The arrangements leave space for Ann Wilson's powerhouse vocals, making the guitar part both a hook and a rhythmic anchor. Live versions often feature an even more extended acoustic intro, letting Nancy showcase her virtuosity. All right, cool. I'm down. I'm so down to listen to this live and to see this in a video whenever we can, maybe with Alexia. But yeah, just a great tune. Let's move on here with R.E.M. So R.E.M, we've done some R.E.M. Of course, I'm familiar now with Losing My Religion, Shiny Happy People, and there's some other stuff that I listen to here on the channel. But this is from the album Green from, let's see, 1988. And the song is called Pop Song 89. Let's check it out. Let's go. Cool. Never heard before. And there's a different REM that I know. I think I know the later REM. This is a more almost punk like REM. And I like that. It reminded me a little bit of Gloria. That song Gloria. I don't know who sings it, but it's almost like it sounds like an A, D, and then F. G, D, like almost like dum 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 dum. I don't know, maybe a C here or an E. I don't really know, but I think this was more like the riff and the lick that do dee 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 do dee 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 dee. I think that's more. Honorable mentions, honestly. Message in a Bottle. and Ain't Talking About Love by Van Halen, Message in a Bottle by Police. Very, very riffy, very important riffs in history. I think that, but very hard Message in a Bottle to do that. You had to have a stretch like that to do that. And Ain't Talking About Love, it had that that really rhythmic kind of staccato like, again, with the palm muting. Van Halen, very, very important. I think honorable mentions, they're not included here, but I wanted to mention them. Now, this last band, let's see what the information. So R.E.M. Green 1988, released as a single. All these were singles. Writer credited all 4 members, Michael Stipe, Peter Buck, Michael Mills, Bill Berry, served as an opening track on Green, signaling the band's shift into slightly more mainstream accessible sound while keeping their jangly roots. Very, very cool. Guitar riff played by Peter Buck, known for his clean, chiming Rickenbacker tone that defined much of R.E.M's sound. The riff is built on a bright opening position chord with a constant down-up strumming pattern, alternative, creating a percussive yet melodic drive. Standard tuning, the riff follows a cynical chord progression with a minimal embellishment. The magic is in the rhythm and the interplay between the bass rather than flashy technique. Very cool. Buck uses economy of motion, no big bends or solos, just pure rhythm guitar, locking in with the drums. The tone comes from the Rickenbacker 360 12-string into a clean amp with compression, produced that signature jangly sparkle. There we go. Musical context. The simplicity of the riffs reflects R.E.M's philosophy at the time. Let the songwriting and atmosphere carry the track, not guitar heroics. And I think that's very important, because sometimes less is more. But for some people, more is more. You know, that's just how it is. I know guitar players, they're like, no, more is more. Like, if I'm gonna, like, you know, play like, then it is more, you know. Maybe it's not to everybody's liking, but it is very satisfying, especially if you are a musician or guitar player. It's deceptive, simple, easy for beginners to play, but hard to make sound as effortless and driving as Buck does. Pub Song 89 was meant as a tongue-in-cheek commentary on the commercialism of pop, yet, ironically, it's one of the band's most straightforward and hook-driven guitar parts. The riff acts as both the verse and chorus hook, changing only subtly between sections. So they don't talk about the notes here that I wanted to see. And also, in the other thing, they didn't talk about the notes either, because I wanted to see if it was a chromatic run. But you guys are going to tell me. All right. Celebrity Skin by the band Hole. So I do know about what was her name? Give me a second here. Kurt Cobain's former wife, Courtney Love. Yes, unfortunately, of the too early deceased Kurt Cobain, who was obviously very, very important for grunge and music and pop culture in general, you know. Unfortunately, he took his own life, and was obviously, that was, you know, just things, I guess, that happen in the world. Another person taking their life, dying at 27, of that famous or infamous club of the 27 year olds. You know, we have Jimi Hendrix, we have oh my god, I just blanked out. We have obviously Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, we have Jim Morrison, and I think a couple of more. A very famous, what's her name? A female singer, both female, that died at 27. One from the 70s. Me and Bobby McGee, you know, and then the other one who was, I think, the American, Italian American, I think, what was her name? Amy Winehouse, And the other one, I just can't recall a name right now. Okay, so let's listen to the song and this album opener, Celebrity Skin by Hole. Here we go, 1998. Here we go.
Oh, make me over. I'm all I wanna be. A walking study in demonology. Hey, so glad you could make it. Yeah, now you really made it. Hey, so glad you could make it now. Oh, look at my face. My name is might have been. My name is never was. My name forgotten. Hey, so glad you could make it. Yeah, now you really made it. Hey, there's only us left now. When I wake up, if my makeup is too early for that dress, wilted and faded somewhere in Hollywood. I'm glad I came here with your pound of flesh. No second feeling, 'cause you're a star now, or Cinderella. They aren't sluts like you. Beautiful garbage, beautiful dresses. Can you stand up, or will you just fall down? You better watch out. Oh, what you wish for, it better be worth it. So much to die for. Hey, so glad you could make it. Yeah, now you really made it. Hey, there's only us left now. When I wake up in my makeup, have you ever felt so used up as this? It's also sugarless. Hooker, waitress, model, actress. Oh, just go nameless. Honeysuckle, she's full of poison. She obliterated everything she kissed. Now she's fading somewhere in Hollywood. I'm glad I came here with your pound of flesh. You want a part of me? Well, I'm not selling cheap. No, I'm not selling cheap.
Very cool. Like it, this band has such catchy music. It's and it's so crazy that this was going on at the same time. A little bit later than Nirvana, you know, it was just the outro of the grunge era, you know, and then I think the lamest era started, which is like a new metal. Oh, I don't know what they would call it. Which I've never gotten into. I've never been comfortable with it. It's just something I highly dislike. Maybe one day I'll get into it. Also, but the industrial age started there. You know, industrial rock. You know, Marilyn Manson and Rammstein, and I do love Rammstein. Don't get me wrong, but Marilyn Manson. There's just some things I could never really get into. From that time, but this was very good. This was very, very good, very catchy, also syncopated, you know. Let's read about it. Shorter song, and I was also looking at this, what they called it, 27 Club. I had this thing in my mind. Janis Joplin was, of course, the one that I missed, but it was Brian Jones, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, and then obviously as well Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, and some other, you know, people that were maybe not musicians but artists, and they call it the 27 Club. Unfortunately, it is what it is. This was generated, I guess, because of pop culture and the internet, but it's not, unfortunately, a thing that, you know, it might be a coincidence or something. But unfortunately, these people died at the age of 27. So we have the artists here: Hole, Celebrity Skin, 1998, Writers Courtney Love, Eric Erlandson, Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins. Released as a lead single in August 1998, it became Holt's biggest commercial hit. There you go. The opening riff is a sharp, upbeat, instantly recognizably setting the glam punk tone of the track. Written primarily by Billy Corgan through Courtney Love and Eric Erlandson, shaped its final form. But yeah, you gotta give it to Billy Corgan. He's an amazing songwriter and guitar player. I've seen him shred like Van Halen and Yngwie Malmsteen, and he has a really cool podcast that you guys should check out. He is quite the interrupter, and I blame myself. I always interrupt Alexia, but he does interrupt a lot the guests, but it's still watchable, and I think he's very interesting and very, very respectful person, and I really like his music. So it says here it was recorded standard tuning. The riff revolves around power chords, of course, staccato, palm muted, with quick rests that give it a punchy, syncopated groove. Tonally, it's bright and slightly overdriven, classic late 90s. Guitar is used likely Fender Strat Tele, doesn't really say. The riff returns throughout the song as a hook, anchoring the verses before the big opening chord crashes. And obviously, Courtney does an amazing job singing over this, Now, the musical context, unlike Holt's earlier grunge-heavy sound, Celebrity Skin leans into power pop and glam rock. See, it was like the end, I guess, of the whole grunge sound. Glam rock influences making the riff slicker and more polished. The riff's rhythm and give it almost the Cars or Cheap Trick vibe, but with the 90s grid. It's a masterclass in riff economy, simple enough for beginners to play, but tightly locked to the drum groove, so it feels punchy and professional. Billy Corgan's pop sensibility helped craft a riff that's both radio-friendly and rock club ready. And I could almost hear Billy singing this, like it's totally him, like the da 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 da. Very cool. That's it. That's the information that I have here. I think this was very, very interesting. I would totally do part 2 of this. Almost an hour of me blabbering here, but I hope it was entertaining. I hope you enjoy these videos. Like I said, there are some honorable mentions that I would come up with. I could come up with right now, apart from the 2 that I mentioned. But hey, there's so many great riffs. Thank you so much for thinking of this, JK. You always have amazing ideas for marathons. And hey, I do have time if you guys want to request marathons, triathlons, single song reactions. I do have a little bit more time than Alexia on my hands, as always. So if you want to go ahead, you're not killing me. There's some stuff that we can't do because we need 2 people to do it, like the full albums, some of the Dan reactions. We are working on them, but it's just a slower process because usually when Alexia comes home, she's dead. She's tired. So yeah. So if you guys want more, let me know. Again, thank you so much for supporting us throughout these years, supporting us with this move and just with your words, with your emails, your comments, everything you guys have done. Thank you so, so much. And I hope to see you all in the next one.